Hey everybody, I'm on a roll, so let's do some more retro CSS battles. Here's August 9th. It looks sort of like a sunrise or sunset photo of a landscape pointed in some direction, even though it's super abstract. We've got this white ball with a shadow, a long shadow, and then we have another example of a flopped, interesting shape. All right, so let's get to it. This one I did with 2 linear gradients when I first did it. I think now I would like to do this with my friend the conic gradient. Will it work? It might. The question is whether it'll stand up to the variations here, and I am going to go ahead and start it at 0 and go some percentage around. I'm going to try to use percents. We'll see whether that's a bad idea. So 20%, and then pink 0. So okay, so the first thing I'd like to do, the next thing I'd like to do rather, is set the at. So our at will be 50%, right? 100 pixels, and let's move that position downward. Can we get away with a 60%? 61, 62, 63, 4, 65. That is close. And then use percent here. 20.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 20.8%. I'm happy with that. I think that that's doing what I want. So that's great. Next, we want so we have that color. So what, 30%? And then we need the final color. That's not the final color. Nope, Joe, it's not. How about 31%? How about 28%? 29.1. Okay. And then let's set our final color and say that is going to be, well, it's 180 degrees, right? So that means just add 50, 79.1%, comma, 0.2, and that's it. So that's a conic gradient. There's your power of the conic gradient. 99.9%. So awfully close, but not correct. So how do we do this and get a reasonable number? Let's try from 29%. 29.1%. Actually, no, we're going to need degrees for that, aren't we? 30 degrees. From 30 degrees, and so I need to redo this again. I just need to do it again. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so we're gonna say, and it's not 30 degrees. It's more like what, 70, something like that. 70 degrees, and that first color is gonna be this color, and then it'll be red, and then finally that. So let's put a 0 here, and let's see how close we can get. All right, so there's our first number. So we're saying we're 71 degrees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Could be right. Makes me think that using percentages is not buying us anything. Let's just use degrees. So we're saying that's from 70 degrees. And then let's call that, what, 80 degrees? No, that's way too much. We need like 15, right? So I was thinking some different way. Okay, how about 30? 30. Okay. And then the red is 210 degrees. And is that it? Now it still looks like we have a little bit of a funkiness there, huh? Let's submit that and see what we get. Can we get 100% at this? No, we cannot. That's 99.9%, and that's not good enough. So let's try using a different unit. So we see just how close that the error margin there seems to align very well with the actual thing. So let's go 199, 198, 97, 96, 95, 94, 95, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 5, 4.5, 6. That looks pretty good. We have a little fraying at this outside edge here, maybe, but let's see if they get 100%. That's 100%, and we'll take it. So we'll minify and unit replace. I don't think we've got any units here. And let's just, for giggles, we'll remove that final brace and see if we get a better score than the linear gradient solution. Curious, waiting. That is a new high score, so we'll take it. So that's the grandeur of the conic gradient, and apparently using degrees here, which is more verbose. DEG is much longer than the percent mark, even if you've got decimals in there. But degrees may be more accurate. I don't know how to say that. It's peculiar and interesting that works the way that does. All right. So what's this guy? I mean, it's a circle, right? The circle's the easy part. The question is, can we get a shape of this guy that does what we want? So if I do, it has me inclined actually to create an element that has that border radius to start with. I don't know if that's a good idea, but I'm going to do it. All right, let's try it. Okay. So what do we need? On the body, we have this color. And then for this, we're going to call it white. And we're going to do a border radius of 50 pixels, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And then we're going to use our margins here. Do we need a margin 0? Yeah, we're going to need margins anyway. So, okay, so 100, 0, 0, 100. So that's the idea. How far off are we? Let's try 80. Let's try 75. Let's try 110, 120, 125. So those are, numbers. 120. So that's a height. We need that height to be 225. I mean, it could be any number, but that's the most accurate. 60, 70, 80, 75, 75. So now, what does that get us? Less than we hope. Because I was hoping to use a linear gradient here, but we've got this little edgy part, right? So let's do the radial. The radial gradient we know is the easy part. Let's do a linear gradient of which is at, well, we think it's 45 degrees. That's sort of an isometric shadow, let's call it. transparent, and then we'll get into this darker blue, 0, 100 pixels, and then transparent again. And then 0. So that's the idea. Let's get those numbers right. 100, 200, 10, 20, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. Okay. And then that number, so 234 is correct. And the 100 is too big. So 60, 70, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84. So now we've got that. So that's our linear gradient. So let's do the easy part. Radial gradient. Circle. 75 pixels. White. 2 transparent. Don't forget the comma. And don't forget to bounds that guy. And then we need to move him. We need to move him by putting him where? Oh, that number might be, well, let's find out. At 75 pixels, 75 pixels. All right, and then now we've exposed the problem with this is that edge, which I alluded to. So, and then with the border radius, we really just show it off, right? We really show it off in that case. So the question is there a way to do this in a way that's more efficient? Or is the solution to do the flip of this? What if we do the linear gradient on the body? All right, so here's what we'll do. We'll still have this problem, won't we? No, we won't. I don't know. This is sort of getting away with me. This is getting away from me. Another one of those cases. Kind of entertaining. 135 minus 135. Okay. And then let's change those numbers. 100, 130, 130 p pixels, 140, 50, 60, 70, 31. And let's put into the background. Actually, we just use these. If we're committed to doing it this way, which are we? It's sort of working. I sort of have an idea of what I'm doing, but maybe not. 200, 300, 10, 20, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, those. Okay, so now 0, 0.75, 125, 0, 0, and then the height, and then let's that. Okay. And then the idea is that this element is not there. I'm gonna put it, okay, so there we go. Now we're cooking with gas. So, all right. So the circle at too much. 1, 5, 1, 5, 1, 7, 200. And okay. So will a border radius, here's the moment of truth of whether all of this was a terrible idea. Border radius 0, 0, 75 pixels, 0. Same idea, but the opposite. Same error, but the opposite. So that means there it is. But then do I need, so I can use the linear gradient that's completely reversed of that on the body, in which case I don't even really want this as a radial gradient. Maybe I just want, so okay, part of this is improvisational, right? Like so is the angle that bisects this something I can use? So let's make that element be background of white. Background width 100, aspect ratio 1, border radius 50%, and then make him bigger. And he's 150, isn't he? Yeah, I think he's 150. And we'll put him in place with margins. Margin of 100, 100. I don't know what those numbers are offhand. 75, 120, 125. Right, so that's right. Okay. And then a linear gradient. And we'll do goofy numbers, red, transparent, and I think the angle is 45 degrees, yes. No, it's minus 45 degrees, which could work. 135 degrees, yeah. So 135 degrees. So let's do that. Wah, and then wah, and just move along until we cover it. Okay, is that 100%? These are not pretty numbers, right? They're just not. I want them to be, and I'm not even sure I'm at 100%. Yeah, we're at 99.9% because we've got a little bit of wiggle on these guys. So what? Let's try percentages there. 30%, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36 is gonna be too much. 35, 34.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8. Okay, and let's use percentages here as well. 50%, 60%, 64%, 65%, 0.1, maybe. And let's submit that and see what we get, and then we can make some more optimization. Let's just see if we got it. I'm not sure we got it. That's 100%. Okay, so we'll take it and we'll do some last. Height 150. And remove that final. The background is white. So two linear gradients in opposition to each other. No way to do conic gradient because they're not radiating, right? These are parallel lines, and so that's not a thing we do. We could have done whatever this whatever this point is, where this tangent is, if we could do a background of just that, in theory we could do that. Oh, do I want to try that? Not really. I don't really want to try that. Why don't I want to try that? Because I'm a chicken, probably. So I'm gonna be a chicken today, and that's fine. But in theory, you could also have a background here. You could do that background, and whatever that point is, have that the same radial gradient. This one that we have to cover with this. We could do it with sizing. Am I a chicken? So auto no repeat. Like that. And will that work? That seems to be working weirdly, shockingly. It's almost working. And then if I put this color in the background, all right, so I'm not a chicken, fine. It doesn't matter, you don't have to do what scares you, it's okay. 1, 2, yeah, the minute I move that over, that's no good, right? So I need to change those numbers anyway at some point. And so this is too far down, isn't it? Just choosing 100 arbitrarily has put me face to face with. So that's no good, right? Okay. That means I need to go further down, don't I? Yeah, 125. And then that's not going to be, that's too far down. So the question, okay. So here, okay. So conceptually, if I swap this out and just do, so I know I'm going to have to change these numbers anyway. So I'm going to put this color in all the spots. And then I'm going to have so what size of background can I put in place that will cover all of that blue? So okay, so that makes the task a little simpler. Not easy, but simpler. So 30. And that gives me a little bit of extra nonsense, unfortunately. So then I need to go further over, 35. I need to go down, 6, 7, 8. Oh boy. So see that edge bleeding out. So if you do this on graph paper, right, that spot where the tangent between here and that tangent is the tricky part. So now I'm not not tall enough, right? So I keep placing this background, so I'm too high. I mean, I simply am too high. Or too low. Too low is what I mean there. 8, 7, 6, 5, and then let's go over 6, 7, 8, 9, and then how about 4, 3. Okay. So I think that I've got it. So then I need transparent. Transparent, like 30, 40, and then that blue, and then transparent again, 60%, 70%. Can I get a number that works? 1, 2, 3. And then are there little bits of incorrectness peeking through? Let's try it. .9% match. So if there's a way to do it using this technique, so that, yeah, that little bit is shining through. We've got 2 edges there. It's so close. It's very, very close. So then if I, can I make this work by doing a border on this element? Border solid that color, and then border color by just doing it on the right top edge. So if I do 0, 0, color, that doesn't like that at all. So I need to do border of that, and then so I need border widths. Border width of 4004. That's sort of fun. So I only need 1 border color. And that also changes our, so I'm going to do box sizing. Border box. No, I don't want that. I sure don't, but I need to change these margins then if I'm going to do that. So yeah, so all of that was a bad idea. What we call some people call a snipe hunt. I think I'm looking for something that can't be done. I'm trying to do it in a more elegant, terser way, using a single linear gradient, and I don't think that it's there, or if there is, I'm not thinking of it, and that's just fine. That's fine. I could also do another gradient, a conic gradient on here, but that's the same thing again. We're still covering it up. That's fine. I'm content with this this 642 solution that we just saw. That's just great. That's a good score. All right, that's it of that one. That was August 10th, and definitely a fun challenge. I'm sure there are more elegant ways to do that. It's a fun shape. It's a very fun shape. How little code can you write to get that shape? And I'm by no means, even though I'm putting out a lot of these videos, I'm not a top player, right? I'm in the in the 30s or 40s or 50s of terms of the players on CSS Battle. So and I don't expect to be number 1. That's not something that I aspire to. I just like writing the code. It's fun to write this code. It's fun to know that I can think a little bit like a browser, like a little bit like a CSS renderer, and solve problems on the web. It's a lot of fun. It's super duper fun even. All right, okay. So this guy's fun. I think that he's a, you know, let's so the angle is I feel like it's the same gradient twice, right? One, and then a border radius 1, 50% rather. There's your circle, and our background is I want to put make it a gradient, linear gradient. That is at an angle var dash dash a or 90 degrees, comma, purple 50% and yellow 0, and then put that on the body. Oh, we need a semicolon there. Var dash sg. Boom, done. And then I want this background to be the same thing, and then change the angle. Angle is minus 90. Do I have that backwards? Did that not have any effect? Or do I have the angle wrong? 180. Oh. Do I have the syntax incorrect? Maybe. Can I not use variables that way? Maybe. Oh, hilarious. Hilarious. Dash dash G, dash dash A. I don't know how to use CSS variables. That's a shocking state of affairs. No, there's a lot of nuance to them, and so so that's clearly the problem. So let's do a star, and our background for any element is a 90-degree blah, 90-degree plus, and then excuse me, and we aren't getting anything. Why not RG? So we don't have a RG. That's why. Okay, and then let's just flop this guy. We'll just rotate him. Transform scale x -1, and I have transition. It's auto-completed. Thank you, autocomplete. Transform scale x 1, and that does it. Kind of fun, interesting. You know, I don't know. It's good, but it's fun. Margin 50, 100. 92, something like that. Is that it? Might be it. So all elements now have this background that is 100%. Height, so width would be 200 as well. We don't need the trailing. Let's minify and replace and submit, and we're done. Pretty good. I have to say this was enjoyable. The challenge, and reminding us that degrees are a slightly better way to think about the angles in a conic gradient, about any kind of, in a using a polar coordinate system. Well, not really coordinate, but you're moving around a circular axis, and those degrees, starting from the top around to 360, right? There's a value in thinking of them as degrees. Get out your protractor. And this guy, a lot of fun with him. There probably is a way to do that and confine the blue only to that area. I'm not thinking of it. maybe there's a way. If you do it in 2 segments, but then that's still 2 gradients. So maybe, And then this guy, that is a new high score, so that is a nice efficient way to do that alternating grid type deal. And it's super fun because you can swap those colors out and you get a very instant change. It's super duper fun. I'm sort of, one thing that you can do, you can do an input type equals color, and that's actually showing you that now. You can't click on that, all right? So this is showing me an input of type color, and that's one of the most fun things on the web for me, for a person who loves CSS, is you can play around with tools that will show you what the to be able to play with color. So over on my lab website, and I usually don't do this, I've got this little guy that is a bookmark that you can actually set that anywhere, and I can change the color of this, and that's we put that in the fun category for me. I enjoy that. I remember going to CNN.com. This is not a paid promotion, obviously, and I can run this CSS properties editor, Clunk, and look at all the CSS properties that CNN has. That's kind of fun. Like, is it easy to find one that's fun to look at, or easy that makes a modification? It almost looks like it's not working. Apply butter, input selected default, base color purple 50, text banner gradient 1. Like, these are complicated values, right? But kind of fun. So I'll put the link to that guy in today's notes as well. So again, super fun. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Take care.